Attorneys prosecuting the 3 Tacoma police officers on trial for the death of Manuel Ellis rested their case Wednesday, signaling the midpoint in the trial and the start of defense testimony. Over the last 6 weeks, prosecutors from the Washington State Attorney General's office have called some key witnesses. 4 eyewitnesses, 3 of whom took substantive cell phone video, medical experts, and a former cop who's an expert on police use of force. The jury also heard the voice of 33-year-old Manuel Ellis, who repeatedly told police, "I can't breathe," after 2 officers beat him, shocked him 3 times with a taser, and pulled him to the ground, where he was handcuffed, and the defendants took turns putting their weight on his back. Those officers are Christopher Burbank and Matthew Collins, the first to encounter Ellis in their patrol car the night of March 3rd, 2020, while Ellis was walking home from a 7-Eleven. They face charges of second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. Their co-defendant, Timothy Rankin, is charged with manslaughter. Special Prosecutor Patty Eakes summarized the state's case to Judge Brian Chushkoff on Wednesday. Ellis' death was ruled a homicide by the county medical examiner, meaning someone else killed him, and his cause of death was a form of oxygen deprivation caused by physical restraint. How the police encounter with Ellis began has been a central dispute in this trial. But prosecutors say 3 of the eyewitnesses saw what happened from the beginning. Ellis was on the sidewalk while officers were still in their car, and when he was called over, the door swung open, knocking Ellis to the ground. Witnesses testified he didn't fight back as Collins elbowed his face and Burbank tased him before he was pressed to the pavement. The eyewitness testimony shows there wasn't a legal basis for officers to contact Ellis, according to prosecutors, and their accounts conflict with the statements of Burbank and Collins. Lawyers for the officers say nothing they did caused Ellis' death, and they've focused on the meth in his system and his enlarged heart as another explanation for why he died. But prosecutors say none of it would have happened if it wasn't for the actions of Burbank and Collins. And after Ellis repeatedly said, "I can't breathe," which Burbank and Collins claimed not to hear, prosecutors say they should have immediately rendered first aid. Instead, they continued to restrain him. When Rankin arrived as backup, he put all of his weight on Ellis' back, and as more police arrived, Ellis' handcuffs were tied to his ankles in a hog-tie position, and an officer not on trial put a spit hood over Ellis' head. Prosecutors' medical experts agreed that the various ways police restrained Ellis, combined with a violent beating by police, made him asphyxiate and die. The medical examiner who first ruled Ellis' death a homicide said he was brain dead by the time paramedics arrived. Thanks for listening. I'm Peter Talbot, the criminal justice reporter for the News Tribune. Next week, the defense will begin to make its case. You can follow our coverage at thenewstribune.com.